Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. This is where we answer all of your questions about puppyhood. I'm Bethany.
And I'm Sparky from the Puppy Academy.
If you have a puppy question you need help with, join us live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time on Instagram or TikTok at the Puppy Academy.
This is where we tackle your toughest training challenges and guide new puppy parents on how to make puppyhood easy.
If you're ready for more in-depth puppy help right now, check out our online school at thepuppyacademy.com to have us personally guide you through every step of puppyhood and in raising a happy, well-mannered pup.
We're excited you're here. And now, let's get to the show.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to
Ask a Puppy Trainer Show episode
197. I'm Bethany. This is Sparky. This is Alfie. Ow. We had Alfie last week. He took longer to start biting me.
Let's see if we can get a little rope toy. I bet you it'll last longer.
He's more comfortable now than he
Hey guys,
was.
can we just get a little rope toy?
Please?
Yeah, just like a little rope toy from the chew-on.
Okay, thank you.
Becca was trying to sneak us information.
Oh, did she leave her phone?
Yeah, she did.
Is that what she was looking at? It's been crazy. It's been crazy.
It's been a day, guys. It's been a day. But
here's
you
the
come
thing.
to us for our chaotic joy.
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, puppies got behavioral issues. They do. They can have serious behavioral issues from a very young age. And so our meetings have been running a little long lately.
I like this question. This is very much my speed.
Then go right ahead.
From Oh Really Sandra, how to train a 9-month-old toy poodle to be in a carrying bag for travel, planes, or in stores. So the planes are in store. For that part, I'm going to recommend that you hire a dog trainer that's going to actually take you to locations that are going to replicate the noises of these sounds on an airplane, the sounds on like a bus, on a train, on any form of travel that you're actually going to be using, including feet walking by like in a TSA line. You got to go through all that. I'm a service animal trainer. I fly probably 4 dogs a month. Every single month. It's kind of my jam. But even dogs that are in carriers, I still work with those people and I take them to all the same areas, but the expectation is less. How do I start that training? I introduce that carrier inside my home. That becomes their crate for the next 2 to 4 months. And instead of putting them in the hard crate, I'm putting them in that softer fold-up crate if they're not prone to chewing. Yeah. If they're prone to chewing, you actually have to tackle that first, and I'd recommend you guys get a private trainer to come in and show you how to introduce that and how to settle them down in the crate. It could even be a little bit of crate frustration or boundary frustration. You want to add to that?
Yep.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited to.
Well, you kind of gave the overview, and it was how to get your dog comfortable in a carrier, right? To travel. So
for travel, planes are in stores.
So it's a combination of everything we always talk about. Does your dog stop at thresholds? Does your dog sit and wait for permission to do things like go through thresholds, say hi to people, pulling on leash, food work, food desensitization of whatever they struggle with. At 9 months old, you wouldn't do it for everything, but if there's a few things that they struggle with, like feet movement, like people going hi and leaning over, things like that, go ahead and put them in an outdoor mall environment or go to a cafe. And instead of putting them, at your feet in a down, you would practice having them hang out in the carrier. And so go ahead and start doing things like that to work on that. Out here, we've even got some airports where we can go to the outside part of the airport to the baggage claim area and work on that. So, but that's kind of, your last step. But
all of this starts in your home, living room, bedroom, hallway, dining room away from you. You have to be able to get them used to multiple areas in a controlled environment before ever even sitting on your front patio and setting that carrier down. Another tip is put the carrier at eye level to you. If they're a little bit more uncomfortable in it, that's going to get them used to it. Open it up about 3/4 of a foot, and then reach your hand in, sit down, pull your hand out, say good, reach your hand in and give a treat. I don't do that much carrier training for service animals, but the couple that I've done, we've carried the carrier everywhere we go, and it basically sits next to whatever seat that the human's on. If you're trying to do this for service and you just trust the carrier more, it has to go on your level. can't be on the floor. They have to be able to alert you for whatever task they're doing.
But it's also just good for nervous dogs. I had a nervous small dog, and I always worked her in a seat, not on the floor. And we worked up to the floor being fine, unless a kid was running by yelling and carrying on. And I, put her up in my lap or in a seat if it was available. I just want to point something out. We're going to move on to what I'm dealing with now. So he was doing great to start with. And then it's like, okay, this is getting kind of boring. Let me bite your hand just as hard as I was biting the toy. So here it is. So I just made a fist. I said no, and I froze. And then I gave him the toy back. And so I didn't make a big stink of it, I mean, first of all, I need to get him off my lap.
Ow, no.
This is unfair to the dog. I am not about look, at the end of the day, no, I'll do what
That was
works.
her no. You heard her no? Very neutral.
Yeah, and firm and just plain firm neutral. But I also freeze my body and make it like, no, cut it out. And then here, look at this. But I'll do anything that works. Like, so if this works with your puppy, ignore me. I mean, do what works if you're struggling with your puppy. But I've never been a big fan of the noise to be
Any
like.
kind of hunter dog is gonna treat that as prey.
They reach a certain age where they're like, why are you acting like a dying animal or another animal that's showing pain and weakness? And so it can, whoa. No, we're getting amped up by the toy now. Whoa. So I had my thumb out. I don't know if you guys could see that. I had my thumb out. He really went for my thumb. I moved it away a little because it freaking hurt. And so, if it looked like I went into the dog, I swear all I did was I moved away, tucked my thumb in, and then just went forward where my hand was. Don't show weakness. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like, don't pull back. If you pull back, look how that gets his attention. Look at that. Look, and he bites me as soon as I come back, And so when you do that, you're building drive. So when I went, and kind of jerked back, I just went forward where I was earlier. I swear I didn't punch the dog, I swear. Okay. I think.
Just for clarification.
Yeah, just for clarification.
I got a question.
No. Alfie is done.
Oh, okay. I got a question.
Done. He's so cute. Here, I'm going to give you guys a close-up because he's the best breed that human and God ever invented. Yes, he's a cute doggy. There you go.
Bethany loves Aussies.
Can you tell? Can you tell?
She likes any working breed.
Can you tell?
She likes Yorkies too. Believe it or not, big working breed. All right, my question is from Samantha Saul.
Hi from Chicago, Illinois. Howdy, and hi from Syracuse, New York. Heidi, I'm from Southern Illinois, by the way. All right, what were you saying?
Let's slap that phone.
I want to say hi to everybody. I'm just being honorary, but they really did say that.
Samantha! Saul.
Hi, Samantha.
All right, my 5-month-old PWD, I'm going to have to work that out in my head, is starting to wake up earlier than usual. Is he going through a sleep regression? Thank you for the age. Thank you for the breed. We're going to try to work that out in our brain, what that is in a second. PWD.
Portuguese Water Dog. Ooh, for the win.
That's good. He could be going through a sleep regression. What I'd be trying to do is, one, when are you giving your last bowl of water? If it's anywhere past 7 p.m. or 6 p.m., that could be leading to it. When's your last potty? It should be right before you and your partner go to bed, not when he goes to bed. It's your final potty before you guys get in under the covers. And the last one is when he wakes up and does the barking or whining. If you ignore it, does he have an accident? Yeah. Or in 10 minutes, does he just kind of go back to sleep? I know it can be a little bit tough to hear that for 10 minutes, especially if it's at 4 a.m. But if you do want a solution to kind of help him, you can cover the sides and the front. He can't see you do this. Mm-hmm. And I've heard other trainers say, toss a shoe at the crate. I mean, it's not hitting the dog, so I guess it doesn't really matter. You could walk up, tap the crate. Mm-hmm. I personally am not going to say no. That's my suggestion, because if I say no, now my dog knows that woke me up. I walked over. To me, it's more like a act of God. Top of the crate. Moves around a little bit, unsure, and eventually you kind of hear them sit and lay back down. You just tiptoe back to bed, try to get in. They're not dumb. They know it's someone getting up to respond to it.
Assuming it's not potty related.
Yeah, assuming it's not potty related. But if it's a potty accident, then you have a different issue. You got to look at when you're giving water, when you're giving your final potty. I think it's just age, adolescence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yep. And I agree with you. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I don't have anything to add. Well, I did add a little, but.
Yeah. Did you add something?
Yes, I did.
What'd you add?
I added.
You don't even remember.
I said something.
Were you just talking?
No, I did not do a
talking?
Sparky and just talk to talk.
Sometimes I just
did
talk.
not
Like,
do a Sparky.
You don't usually just talk. Oh, okay. Betsy's having an off day. She's having a Sparky day.
My mind is a little scattered today. It's a long.
You're having a Sparky day.
It's a long story why. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's called having a kid and a business. Okay. Not a kid, a baby. All right. Ash London says, hi, my 1.5-year-old golden retriever bites the leash and then me very hard on walks. She seems to get into a frenzy. It's very hard to get her out of it to stop. Any tips? Okay, Ash London, 1.5-year-old dog. So this is different. I can't get super deep into this because it's a more serious issue.
And an older dog.
And an older dog. At 1.5 years old is no longer a puppy. It's and some dogs are like in adult territory, end of adolescence, beginning of adulthood, like an 18-year-old, still making some bad decisions, but So my thing would be, no matter what advice you get from us, you need to get some one-on-one training right away. Like, this is bad. This is not a phase. This is not, even if the dog is just doing it to be pushy, there's no, malice in it whatsoever. I'm not saying your dog's aggressive, because it might not be at all.
I'm going to say yet, though, when that happens, it usually does lead to some intensity later on.
Golden Retriever.
Intensity, though.
Golden Retrievers can be non-aggressive, intense. Like, we work with a ton of retrievers out where we are, because they're just so popular here. They're popular everywhere, but they're really popular here. They can be so mean, bully-ish, intense, without tipping over into that aggression.
I'm working with one that I walked into that session thinking the dog was viciously aggressive, because that's what the owner said. He's so dang happy and demanding and pushy.
Happy to control.
Yeah, he was putting holes in my arm just because he was so excited and grabby. Yeah. So it's an energy thing, but you need a private trainer, guys. You need help.
Ash says very intense, seems frustration based. I'm sure it is, but this dog, I'm going to use the word disrespect. And just to be clear, disrespect is not really a dog thing. But it's the easiest way to kind of communicate with humans what's happening. Your dog is seriously disrespecting you when they're frustrated. Okay. It's not like having a 2-year-old that whacks you because, they're confused and they can't communicate. I mean, this is a dog that should be, really rounding out their training nicely at this point. You should have gotten over your leaps and bounds, and they're starting to think twice before behaving that way towards you. So it is a major disrespect issue, but that's not how the dog sees it. The dog is frustrated and has been allowed, I know you didn't mean to, but has been allowed to do this. So now it's an option to communicate their frustration. It is going to be, I think I can say our opinion, but my opinion, that you're going to want to do some form of de-escalation, correction, and reward. You're going to need all the things, right, to be able to get through this. One is, for me, is the de-escalation. What are you walking this dog on? I would definitely have this dog on a slip leash or gentle leader or something that gives me more head control to go up in the air with. If you go for a different training tool, like a training tool that might give you firmer control, you might actually get more pushback if you don't work with a trainer one-on-one. So that's why, like, a slip leash and a gentle leader's hard to get over the hump of training initially, but
especially if your dog's a little bit older.
But anyway, to get that control, I would go, my arm would, especially with a golden, my arm would go out away from me, up in the air, cover up Sparky, block. You're basically protecting yourself, and they can go up the leash, and you do firm pressure up in the air. With a 1.5-year-old, you've got no issues of like worrying about throw, with a German Shepherd or anything like that. That's why slip leashes are supposed to be high on the leash, because you're not on the trachea or anything like that, like where they hack when they're pulling on a flat collar. So slip leash, high on the neck, pressure up in the air, knock it off. They're a little uncomfortable. They start to care more about the pressure than about biting you, and then relax, move away. You need to work with those triggers of, this goes for everybody. When you're working with just, something your puppy is happy about, it will build frustration to the point of Ash if this isn't worked on. Where as soon as a leaf blows by. As soon as a person way down the street gets in their car and their ears perk up, you're redirecting and you're teaching them follower mode. You're teaching them pack mentality to follow you, follow you, follow you. And you're under that threshold where they're still in learning mode. Once they're biting you, it's de-escalation and then back to learning mode as soon as you can de-escalate them. The messy part is what I think you're going to need trainer help to kind of get over the hump. Do you have anything to add?
So much. I wish she lived down here and I could work with you. That's like my favorite
He's like
kind of dog.
itching to tell you.
I have
like,
so
all
much
the
advice to
things.
give, but it's not puppy at all.
Yeah.
I want to work with you. I wish you lived down here. All right.
Try to find, a balanced trainer that's going to use
Behavioral modification.
behavioral
We need some
modification,
work.
a combination of maybe some of the things we just said to like help de-escalate, maybe add in a correction there, but not necessarily in the moment, because that's when your dog is like at its biggest. It's like, is your dog just trying to pull you through the door? Correct there. Like, hey, calm down. And then, what's your food work look like? Do you have a response to food outside the home? Or does the puppy at 1.5-year-old, the adolescent dog, get too excited and it ends up just chomping your hand when you're trying to redirect it? Do you need to do less food work and more calm redirecting? Those are things that a trainer can help you suss out.
I got one.
No, I got one.
Nope. Cam,
I'll be back.
My pup isn't scared of her crate, but will cry a ton if I leave her. How long do I let her cry? Bethany, I'm actually curious what your opinion is on this one. I have a number in my head, but it's probably triple yours. What's your number of how long you let her cry? Before we would say, hey, your dog has crate anxiety or like boundary frustration, and we need to change something.
See, you just asked a different question.
Go to the first one. I know, that was the leading question.
For me, it's about progress. So if I get a new puppy in and there is just like a little bit of whining and it's off and on and a few peaks, but nothing major, and it's off and on for an hour, I'm going to leave that puppy alone and I'm going to make sure I work on crate boundaries, front and back door threshold. And I'm not asking for sit for a piece of food. They're not even ready for that if you've just got your puppy. I'm just talking about some blocking, slow down. Follow food calmly when I'm training, but I'm going to do my thresholds nice and slow and utilize blocking. Make sure I'm not always petting them when they come up to me. Sometimes I'm like, not right now. Go.
And that's not talking about crate. That's talking about
but it is
so
crate.
far outside of crate.
But it is crate.
It all relates.
So it's like, oh no, I'm not going to pet you right now. Go hang out and be calm. And then, come over here. I'm going to pet you. So I'm going to make sure I'm doing those things when I let the puppy out of crate. And then we're going to do maybe a little bit of extra physical and mental exercise than I did the day before. Put them back in crate. See if that whining decreases. Maybe instead of an hour off and on with a few peaks, it's 20 minutes, naps for 30, wakes up and whines a little while longer, even though I know it doesn't need to pee. So I'm looking for improvement. If I see improvement, we're good. If I keep seeing escalation, we're in trouble and I need to get help.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Escalation, you need help. Improvement, you're on the right track.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So hopefully that can give you some ideas.
The threshold she mentioned, it's very important. A dog that is trying to blast out a crate and is barking their head off inside of it, it's because they see that wall as a boundary that frustrates them. You need to work them through that. Every threshold you stop at, have them sit at, give a little bit of eye contact, be able to open that door up and then close it and give food. That's what I'm working towards. What do you got?
PSA.
I knew you had
I have
something.
a PSA announcement. He made me think of
Public
saying
service
this.
announcement.
I have a public service announcement, everybody. Anyone who has a puppy that isn't putting a leash on
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wait, there's more. That isn't putting a leash on their puppy in the crate. You're letting the puppy, they wait. And then you say break and they're like, woo, party. How many of you are opening your bedroom door or whatever door, like the puppy, the room the puppy is in, or maybe you have a baby gate, that's my life now, and they are flying through the door when you open it. So they waited at crate, and then when you said break, because the trainer said so, and then when you said break, they flew out like a maniac.
You're not benefiting from that.
And you know that the back door, you're going to have them wait again. But there's a bedroom door that opens, there's a baby gate or a puppy gate that opens, and they're flying through it. You don't even have them wait because they're in the house. Why would you? you guys have got, if you're having trouble, if you're not having trouble, ignore me. I don't care. Go smooch and sleep with your puppy. But if you're having any trouble, you have got to get on every door or gate that opens. Every single one. They should be pausing. Now, if they are flying through it, that's where your leash comes in. Oh, turn around. Go back, do it again. Do it till you like, I don't care if it's a 10-week-old puppy. Do it till you like the energy in which they walk through the door. Any of you got some 10-week-old Jack Russell Terriers? They're already terrors. And so you want to go ahead and be focusing on the energy that they're giving you, not only at everything that opens, but the way they walk through thresholds, because that sets a tone for your household. That goes to the respect thing I was talking about earlier. Dogs don't really see respect. They just see whatever you're teaching them.
They see what you provide
through
and
energy.
they relate it to whether you're believable or not.
Yeah, believability, energy. What are you training them to be like in the home energy-wise?
Because whatever you have inside, the minute you go outside, probably quadruple it.
Yep.
We're done.
No.
Oh, no, we're not.
No, we're
I
not.
thought this said 37.
Sandra said,
Sorry.
we're done.
We're done.
Settle down. All right. Sandra says, my 9-month-old toy poodle, male, hates, I thought it said hates me. My brain today. Hates being in a carrier. Oh, this is kind of back to you. I've tried a backpack, tote style bag, carrier for traveling on a plane. Okay. Why are you like giving him all the options? He's already told you he doesn't like it. You don't have to go broke. He seems to hate being covered or enclosed or in something. What do you have to say to that?
I was reading it.
A backpack.
Tough stuff. He's got to go in it.
9-month-old.
He's got to learn how to deal with it.
So we kind of answered some of this. The very first question was about traveling with a dog, a puppy. So you can re-listen to that when it's uploaded on YouTube in a few days. But what have you?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be
9-month-old?
considerate with my answer, not rude. Oh, okay.
Well, his rude version was just put him in there and he's got to deal with
Put
it.
him in the crate. He's got to deal with it.
Not rude to you.
Not rude to you. It was a sassy answer.
Yeah.
Start him inside the crate, inside of your home. One, I'm curious, are you crate training him in a regular metal or plastic crate outside of that? Like, have you...
It's her.
Oh, it's her.
We answered your question.
I already answered your question. You're the first question we answered.
But you go ahead and finish your statement. Go ahead and finish your statement.
I already forgot it. I've already written it off in my brain.
Are you training a crate in your home or?
Oh, are you training a crate in your home? Are you using a plastic or a metal one? Those are very secure. Dogs put a paw on it and it has no give, no push and receive. So they tend to settle a lot more quickly in those. That would be the first thing I'd introduce. And when I have a lot of comfort, really good hours of sleep in that crate, then I would switch to the carrier. But if I put my dog in the carrier and I'm getting a lot of panic, I'm actually going back to the other crate. And if I don't have panic in that one, then we know the carrier is where we start training. Put them in there, give them a treat when they go in, release them without food, put them in, give them a treat when they go in, release them.
Food happens inside.
It's basically crate training. It's everything you're going to do for the regular crate, you're going to redo all of it for your soft crate. And if you ever get a lot of like biting on it, you got to get a little bit of bitter apple and kind of rub it inside of there. Don't let it soak down. She won't want to lay in it if it's on the bottom part.
I'd also like to add, every time you go to the park, every time you go to, grandma's house for a fun visit to spoil the puppy, they go in the crate. Even if they whine, like make it a fun thing. I do that with muzzle training all the time. And by 2-3 weeks, the dogs are like, oh, you're putting my muzzle on to go to the park and be on long line and get to sniff around. And they start looking forward to it more.
I have a muzzle question here. And it's not for regression.
Oh,
it's
okay.
not for regression.
Cool.
I want to bring it up.
All right, go ahead.
All right. This was from H&H. Hi,
Muzzles are a big thing now.
Hi, my 8-month-old Shih Tzu keeps eating things as we go on walks and we live in Philly. Any tips? Thank you. And then someone below in the comments said, muzzle train him with an exclamation point and a smiley face.
I have to say,
Bethany, go.
I have to say, it's going to be different than what you expect.
We'll see.
Okay. Challenge accepted. If you had asked me even a handful of years ago, to this person that responded to you, I would have been like, that's ridiculous. Like, do not muzzle train your dog. Train your dog. And it's harder with a Shih Tzu. I know people are sensitive to that because of their eyes and their breathing, but you do need head control. And so there are training tools that you can use that don't put direct pressure on the trachea to have head control. And it's pretty simple. Oh, how old is the puppy?
So, I thought it said 8 months.
Yeah, 8 months old. That's not a puppy. That's an adolescent dog.
And use a Shih Tzu, so the eyeball thing.
Yeah, so that's why I said it's like you don't want to use a slip. I wouldn't use a slip leash or something with that. But yeah, you just use a training tool, knock it off, and then food rewards and work your dog when they're not misbehaving. But that's
that's normal.
Easy.
That's the thing
so
that
easy.
we would do. A muzzle to me is only ridiculous because I think the training is actually very easy to do
for a Shih Tzu,
and it builds relationship. And you're
for a Shih Tzu, yeah. It's like, but if you don't want to use a training tool and you're like sticking with my harness and food work, and this is like, if you live in an area where it's a serious issue of what they could pick up off the ground, you might want to consider it.
So people who live in LA, they might consider that.
Certain parts of LA. So there's two reasons that my stance has shifted on this. Not for my training, for somebody else, like asking me a question and I don't know, what their full thing is. So there are dogs that live in certain areas outside of the city that they'll accidentally eat poison. And if you live in, even on a hike, it's happened to a few, people that I know of with active working dogs. And so they did big cage muzzle conditioning because they've got hunting dogs that keep their nose on the ground all the time. And they've lost hunting dogs before because in their area, there's issues with poison and other things, being left. It's a long story. But anyway, in the city, there are tons of restaurants. And they dump stuff. There's places that dump chemicals, and you can come across rat poison. That's happened to me with a client in Van Nuys over a decade ago. And it's a little Pomeranian. Now, I would never suggest like putting a Pomeranian on a muzzle. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is your concern is valid, and the person who mentions the muzzle training, they've probably seen that before with someone else that's worked quite successfully. It is not my go-to, but I just want to be. I'm very open-minded today, guys. I'm
not.
Anyway, that is what I would say. You've got some options, but honestly, I'm just with an 8-month-old dog. I would seriously just train that dog and get a no.
It's not hard. It's not a hard training.
Not the training of like sit down, stay calm. Like you can do that. You should be doing that for, relationship stuff. I just mean train no. Pet corrector, training tool, something. And you need head control. So you need to teach a nice loose leash heel. And with a Shih Tzu, you would have just enough slack to where they can't get their nose fully on the ground. And then you get into a nice open area of grass. Break, release them, let them do their sniffing, back in, heel. People wonder why some trainers are so crazy strict with heel in the city. This is why. It's behavioral issues. It's picking stuff up that's dangerous. We need them right next to us until we get to an area where we can freely say, okay, now I think you can go sniff and not step on a needle or God knows what else.
I have sniffing sessions. I have literally a whole route that I walk that has just garbage all over the ground. And all we're focusing on is redirecting for food, getting a heel, keeping that nose up.
Yeah.
It takes about, move on. Yep. That's another 10 minutes right there.
So we're finishing up. I just want to mention something real quick. We've got some feedback on a video that we had on YouTube. So we love when people go on there and have their own conversations. It's really cool. And then we also love to be like, oh no, we don't agree with that. That's not what this is though. That's not what this is. All right. This was talking about dogs, like how long they should be in crate.
That's on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, Instagram. Oh, cool. Not even YouTube. All right. There you go. Authentically. So, that's a high bar. Authentically So says, kind of interesting. Mine loves his nap time. I'm strict on the schedule. Midday, 4 hours, having fun together. Ridiculous amount of energy though, waiting for the maturity stage. Well, you may need to, Authentically So, put more challenges. And by challenges, I mean ways where he makes mistakes and you tell him what to do instead. That's actually what mentally challenges dogs.
Body blocking, spatial pressure on place. Take a step back, he moves forward, you move in, get him to back off. Just give an example. Keep going. I'm listening.
So maybe you need more of that. I think this is an adult dog or an adolescent dog. I do make sure he stops drinking, by a certain time. That really helps. If he doesn't get his exercise, or even relaxation time before bed. He protests bedtime big time. I'm really curious what age and breed you have. Because a lot of times I would just be like, yeah, he sounds like he needs a stronger no and more high level proofing, which is like going out to a park and practicing that no, because that's the thing that really challenges dogs and calms them down. However, if you have a more intense breed or temperament, even that won't be enough. And there's other things that you got to do. So I'm curious what you got. But anyway, Rachel says, not too much water before bed is key. 11-week-old King Schnauzer, slept 5.5 hours straight before I had to wake up to pee. Perfect. Nice job. Nice job. Joe says, probably wasn't very responsible to get a puppy if you knew you wouldn't be able to work from home, at least in its earlier years.
Well, this person was working from home in the video.
All right. Well, this person was working from home in the video, but Joe, honey, so let me get this straight. No one is allowed to own a puppy unless they work from home. Come on. You don't really feel that way. Just doing a little grandstanding. You don't really feel that way. Nobody has to work from home if they own a puppy. Nobody has to take a week off of work if they own a puppy.
It's helpful, but it's not required.
There's a million different ways you can go about having a puppy and not have to do that. But I'm going to leave it there. Joe. All right, you got anything to add?
Yep, we'll leave it with Joe.
All right, Joe and everyone else, you guys have a great week, and we will see you same time.
Take care, Joe. We'll see you
place,
next week, Joe.
Next week.
Thanks for tuning into Ask a Puppy Trainer Show.
We hope you found some advice that you can use to help make puppyhood a little easier.
Don't forget to join us live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time on Instagram or TikTok at The Puppy Academy.
This is where you can get a chance to ask your burning questions in real time. And if you want even more puppy guidance, visit our website at thepuppyacademy.com for info on joining our online puppy school.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving us a review.
These reviews let more people find us and supports us on our mission to help as many puppy parents as possible around the globe.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.